The impossible has finally happened. Metroid Prime 4 finally has a trailer. Metroid Prime 4 is real. Wow. Now all we need is a new Silk Song trailer for hell to truly freeze over. This isn't going to be a super big deep dive into the trailer. Like, I'm not gonna analyze, like, every frame or anything. This is pretty much just gonna be me rambling about what we know so far. And honestly, it's surreal that we actually have a release window for this thing. 2025, that is strangely close. It's been like 7 years since we got any information about the game at all, and that trailer was to just say that it exists. They did announce that development was rebooting and Retro was taking over in like early 2019. We don't know for sure who was developing the first attempt of the game. It's commonly believed that it was this weird ad hoc development style by Namco, but again, we don't know for sure. This is definitely an interesting way to start the game. It just throws you straight into a battlefield full of like enemies and like space pirates and stuff. I don't know, it feels like something that would be in Halo, which really reminds me of Prime 3. That game's opening was like all bombastic and action-packed. The openings of these games never set a precedent for like how the rest of the game plays. The first game practically started like a Half-Life game with you like exploring like this research station, like just scanning everything, getting used to the controls. It was very atmospheric. The big thing about this trailer is Silex. Now, who is Silex? Metroid fans don't know either. So he was a character in Prime Hunters, but we didn't know anything about him then. And he was teased as the villain to this game, the end of Prime 3. We didn't know anything about him then either. And the same thing with Federation Force. He was teased to be the villain, but we still know nothing about him. It's kind of insane that they're actually going through with it and making him the antagonist. Like, they've been building up this dude for who knows how long. Like, I'm really curious to find out what his deal is. Like, why is he doing any of this? Where did he come from? What happened to him that made him maybe join up with the space pirates? Like, dude's a bounty hunter like Samus is. What happened? This game apparently takes place after Super, but before Fusion. So, how does this dude have Metroids? Well, I think it's pretty easy to buy that they figure out how to clone Metroids earlier than Fusion. I don't think it's any deeper than that, honestly. At the end of the trailer, you can see Samus walking out of a portal. In 2015, Kensuke Tanabe, the Metroid Prime series producer, did an interview with Eurogamer that was pretty interesting. There'll be a link to this in the description, by the way. He said in the interview that he wanted to make a game focusing on one planet with a time-shifting mechanic. So I guess the idea is similar to Prime 2, where you travel between two different versions of the same planet. Prime 4's new logo has a black hole, and that portal Samus came out of really reminds me of those Prime 2 portals. I'm terrible at saying portal, I'm sorry. Must have been worse in my portal reviews. So, like, could this be a spiritual successor to Prime 2, where we'll have to, like, go back and forth between, like, two different versions of, like, the same areas? I'm not trying to get anyone's hopes up or anything, but, like, dude, that would be dope as hell. Prime 2 is my favorite Prime game because of how unorthodox it is from the rest of the series. So to get something similar to that instead of a more return to form entry would be the best possible outcome for me specifically. Oh, shout out to my friend Space King for telling me about this interview when we were talking about it, because it's a really interesting read now that they might actually be doing something with it. I guess the only other thing to really mention is the most obvious thing. Like, how is this game running at 900p 60 FPS? Like, Digital Foundry said it was 900p, so I'm gonna go with that. They seem pretty good at figuring these things out. Like, this is one of the best looking Switch games to the point where some people think it's running on Switch too, and I can't really blame them. Like, I saw the trailer and instantly assumed it was 720p 30 FPS. But no, the people working at Retro are just wizards. Like, I don't know whose firstborn child they had to sacrifice to make it run this good. How many deals with the devil were made? How many goats were harmed in the making of Prime 4? I'm probably not gonna upload like 60 FPS videos to this channel very often, but this one is 60 FPS just to show you how insane this is, that it is 60 FPS. And now that I'm thinking about it, I thought the same thing about Prime Remastered. I saw the trailer in the direct and automatically assumed it was like 720p 30 FPS, but no, 900p 60 FPS. Like, I was shocked by how good it looks while also running that well. It definitely helps that Prime games take place in small rooms, so there's not really a ton for the system to really render. I guess that's just a benefit of sectioning off areas of the game. It doesn't need to worry about big, sprawling areas. We can just make this small room look as good as possible. And that's basically all we know about Prime 4 so far. At least before going into conspiracy theory mode and analyzing every single pixel that they gave us. Realistically speaking, this will probably be cross-gen with Switch 2. But if the Switch version looks and plays this good, I may not need to worry about getting a Switch 2 day one like I did with Switch 1. Although, I did have a Wii U, and I just bought a Switch anyway because Breath of the Wild just looked that good, I guess. I don't know. This game looks to be very, very good. But like, I'm not sure if it's like that level of hype for me. I don't know. I guess part of it is just because it was announced 7 years ago. Like, this was announced a month after I graduated high school. I'm like 3 years out of college now. It was a lifetime ago when they announced this game. Time is fleeting. This was shorter than I thought it would be. Which, I don't know if that says anything about me or how I make videos in this style. I don't know. Whatever. It's been fun. Take care, everyone.